Got it. Hello, everybody. Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
Welcome to today's I guess we'll call it an episode, so to speak, with Marie and Jessica, and we're here with Edgar Escobar. Edgar, where are you at right now?
What's up, you guys? I'm in beautiful Silmar, Los Angeles, California.
I like it.
Where is that specifically? Is it on the
Uh,
beach? Is it in...
Silmar is like the northernmost part of the valley. So it's the northern tip of Los Angeles County.
Perfect.
Just the
So
tip?
right off the 5 freeway,
Okay.
as soon as you drop into LA. So cool
Wonderful.
spot.
I love it. So we met Edgar a while back. Jessica and I have been doing a ton of advocacy work in the equity space for years now, and met Edgar, I guess 2019,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And definitely was impressed and intrigued with your story and everything that has happened. And we just want to talk more about it today and bring to light the new news of everything that's been happening in LA. And just congratulations on being a lottery winner for this next round of 100 licenses that are going out in LA.
Thank you, guys.
Hey.
So we're
Yeah,
gonna talk about all of that.
yeah, I'm dying to know what it means. Pretend we don't know what that means. What does it mean to win this lottery, Edgar?
Oh man. It feels like a to win this lottery feels almost like a comeback story. Because this is the second
Fun.
this is like the second round of a wave of licenses that went out. This is the second round, so I put in an application in the first round. The first round was a mess.
Was that
Not
back
you know
in
there's
was that back in 2018?
uh that was, yeah, in 2019, 2018,
2019.
2019. um there was a lot of things that went wrong in that round. And so we kind of felt the ones that entered that round and didn't make it kind of felt like they got cheated in a way, or because of all the things that happened. We felt like we were in a way impacted negatively by it. So, but we got another chance. So that's what it means to me, at least. The second round and actually pulling the lottery ticket was almost like a um just like a comeback, like feeling like we got defeated on the first round and then just coming back and winning the fight. That's what it felt like.
Can I give can I back up and get some context here? So we're talking about a social equity license specifically for retail, correct? How,
Correct.
how did you get involved with the social equity program in Los Angeles? And how did you even step into this opportunity to get defeated the first time?
That's a good question. I have a good friend of mine that works for a cannabis company who's been doing retail pre-ICO, and prior to the legalization and stuff like that here in Los Angeles and in Southern California. And when the program first came out, they made me aware of the program. My buddy said, "Hey, there's a program where if you fit the criteria, they're going to allow they're going to award licenses, and for people that fit a certain criteria, cannabis arrest, or even just prior proof that you were in the cannabis industry and can show some type of proof." And so they were the ones that made me aware of this program. And for me, um, it was unreal when I heard about it, because I have a cannabis arrest from 2001. So back then it was sort of a shit stain, and I having that happen in 2001, and then still continue to deal with cannabis years and years after until it got legalized. I never thought that having an arrest was going to put me in a position to be able to be eligible for licensing, or to be able to do what I was already doing, but get an advantage at eligibility and things like that, or resources and things like that. So I was intrigued. So when I first heard about it, I said, "Oh shit, that's interesting." So I started doing my own little research. I went in and researched the program, and read the program, and how they selected, and the areas and the zip codes, and all of that, and then just little by little, networking events started to just pop up, for social equity, because there was this whole wave, right? And so I started meeting people, and that's actually where I met. Shout out Felicia Carvajal, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. She's one of the leaders in the space, and advocates that actually gave me the inspiration to like go out there and do it.
That's how we met.
Because all the people that I was around, they were more, they're a little bit more rough, and they're like, "Oh, fuck the licenses," and it's just a setup and this and that. Like, we're gonna continue to do it this way, and so she inspired me. She connected me with a lot of people, connected me with you guys, connected with me, Marie, and so yeah, the social equity program, it hasn't really been what I thought it was going to be, or what they painted it out to be, but thankfully now I'm blessed to have like still stayed in it and continue to believe in it, and now it's starting to show some results.
Fighting the good fight.
Yes.
It's a long time coming. I think yeah, bless Felicia, man. She is definitely an OG in all things that are connecting people like us to the places we need to be in life and each other, and just doing the good work, because that type of work is so difficult, dealing with the government and trying to get people incentivized to do the right thing. So difficult, apparently.
Big
But
time.
yeah, I would say all right. Then you went into the equity program, and you have been involved in licenses now since what, 2020? Manufacturing,
Yes.
distribution, and just tell us more about that experience.
And maybe in the context of like, so timeline. So the retail opportunity in LA fell through. You weren't one of the ones selected. Absolute shit show, mirroring perhaps the shit stain. And then is that when you made the leap to the next step? So like kind of walk us through the timeline of it.
Yeah, so when the social equity program first came about, I actually got licenses for manufacturing and distribution first. And that was back in 2018 when the first wave of licenses came out. So first they gave licenses to the retailers who were already in business, and then they gave licenses to everybody else in the supply chain, manufacturers, distros that were already doing it. So that's when I got the manufacturing and distro licenses through the social equity program. Then fast forward to like 2019 when they had the retail round one, didn't make it there. And then there was a little gap of suspense when the DCR didn't know what they were going to do next. They didn't know when they were going to roll out. We knew that there was going to be another round, but they didn't really announce, and they kept everybody in suspense. So there was I believe there was like 600 some odd entries into the applications, and they only took the first 200. So there was 400 applicants that were left, waiting to hear and waiting for the DCR to announce what was going to happen for the next round, right? So some time
Can I
goes
ask
by.
a question in here then? So in that suspense, like cannabis has arguably the most expensive suspense periods of any industry. In that period of dispense, did you maintain real estate? Like, how much did their suspense cost you?
Well, the good thing is that the properties that we had lined up for retail, we did contingency deals with them. You know, basically contingent upon getting these licenses and paying a deposit. So because we were already hearing the horror stories from other people that were paying and holding down real estate, year and a half, 2 years, you know. So we learned from that, and we said, well, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to throw chips down on the place and hold it down because the DCR really just we don't know when they're going to announce when it's going to happen. So we're grateful for that. But then we were just waiting to hear, like, when is it going to happen again? When is the lottery going to take place? What is the lottery going to look like? Then they announce, then they shrink the social equity pool. Then they announce social equity 2.0, new requirements, cannabis arrest, um, cannabis arrest only. So for the social equity 2.0, you have to have a cannabis arrest and either live in a disproportionately affected zip code or be low income, one of the two. But you had to have a cannabis arrest. And in the first phase where I got the licenses, you didn't have to have a cannabis arrest. That was one of the requirements, but you could have either or. So they shrunk the pool. I guess once they saw how massive the amount of entries was on the first round, or I really don't know the reason why, to be honest, but that's the only thing I could think of. I mean, they see the entries and they're like, holy shit, look, we gotta shrink this pool somehow. So they said, all right, cannabis arrest only and zip code or low income. You got to go through this new verification period. So it was this whole thing all over again. So it was a new verification period that you had to enter, and then once you got the verification, then you had to enter the lottery, and then you had to wait for the drawing of the lottery. So it was like a 3-part situation, and all that shit was like nail biting, you know.
Can I get your opinion on something, because it's interesting the way you phrased it, and I want your real hot take on this. Sure, they were inundated with a ton of applicants, and it was a measure to restrict the pool. Do you feel, though, it seems like a lot of, as this was later, they did this, what, during 2020 or 2021, this second round?
This happened in 2022.
No, I mean, that's when you entered, was in 2022?
Yeah, the
Yes.
social equity 2.0
Yes,
was in 2022.
right. Thank you. So that actually even makes my point more. So I think was there pressure, in your opinion, to really be serving those most harmed, those most justice impacted? Or do you think it was just like, we got to cut numbers? Like, what do you think the intent was, and how did you experience that as someone in the pool?
You know, I'm always just like a skeptic type of person, an alley cat, you know what I mean? So when I really look at the situation, the first thing for me to say is like, oh, I just wanted to shrink the pool and not really focus on, but you know, we at least I hope it was because they wanted to award the people that have been affected, mostly the ones that have been arrested, right? I would hope that that's why.
Yeah, we can hope. I'm just curious, like, what it feels like to be on the other side of it, because a lot of times we're in policy conversations with groups about, like, this is why we should be doing it, and you don't know how it's like received or how it translates on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm gonna be real with you. Since I've been in the social equity circle for such a long time, so I've seen the faces in the space, you know, and then I see the faces that are still in it now with the cannabis conviction, and these are people that I've made friends with in the circle, and I see us still in the circle, right? So that to me means something. It means like, dog, we were the ones that were meant to be here. Like, if you're still here and I'm still here, you know, no matter how they change the laws or the requirements or whatever, like, we're still here. So that means that we're supposed to be here, you know? So the same people that I was kicking it with are the same people back then, are the same people that are in the pool now that entered the lottery. Some made it, some didn't, you know? But it's the same heads. Like the LADCR threw a little shindig before the lottery happened, you know, for a social equity like a mixer, you know? And so it was one of the first times in this new lottery that they actually threw a little event to put everybody in the same, try to put everybody under the same roof so we could see each other, you know? So when I get there, um, because I wasn't all nosy, all up in the mix, either hitting everybody up like, oh, did you make the social equity? Are you gonna be in the lottery and all that? I wasn't that active, you know. I've been busy in my own drama and shit like that. So it wasn't until I went to that mixer that I saw the other heads, and I'm like, yo, are you in it or not? And they're like, yeah, I'm in it. Oh, fuck yeah, you know? And so I'm sitting here with these guys, and we've known each other for, 3 years or whatever from being in the space. But what I'm trying to say is like, I just feel it feels right to see those guys and not like a bunch of, and not see those guys and see a bunch of like new faces. You know what I mean? That just came out of nowhere, and you're like, are you really from LA? Like, do you really have stripes down here and things like that? You know? So that was good. That made me feel. It made me feel good, especially in a time where right now people are going out of business. The industry is just like taking such a big dump and everything else. It just felt good. You know, it felt good to see the same heads like still fighting and still there and still happy, still smiling. You know, and still motivated. You know, even after we've been like kicked, and dragged through the mud. It's crazy.
That is crazy. You
You
know what
gotta
they
win.
say? Trappers gonna trap. And at the
That's
end of
right.
the day, the people that have gone to jail for selling cannabis are the people that are either going to be in the regulated market or going to be in the unregulated market. So if you bring anyone in first, you should definitely look at the people that not only were criminalized for doing that, but if these people have a felony or even multiple misdemeanors, I know someone recently that didn't get a job working for a beer distribution company just because he had a bunch of cannabis misdemeanors, just getting caught with weed, right? So the people that were in it getting caught with weed, unfortunately, but have obviously done time and put in work and got their stripes, like you said, and those are the people that are either going to give us an opportunity legally or we're still going to be criminalized doing what we're doing. But most people don't, it's not really like, oh, I'm going to go back over here to do this other thing. Like, this is what we know. This is what we do. So
I agree.
I mean, it's an interesting point too, because the other side is like poverty, right? So if you're poverty stricken and that's why you qualify, that doesn't put you in a good position to be a successful business in the most complex industry in the United States right now with no additional funding, because that's the fall through again, is they just gave out 100 licenses. Did they give out any funding with that? And then when we had our last digital podcast with someone that won, she was saying that everyone in a certain license tier, which was pretty much everyone right now, is in a provisional license. So in order to get $50,000 that would go towards your rent, you had to be in an annual state, and there's nearly no way for you to get in an annual state by March. So again, where is the money?
No, the money's so hard to get to when you're talking about that. The seed program that the LADCR has set up right now. And I was questioning this the other day. I'm like, there's other social equity companies that are out there that are not retailers that have been bleeding from day one, and they have seen very little funding. And then all of a sudden the retail comes, and then they want to disperse the checks for the retail. And the checks are, 5 times bigger for the retailers for their rent than there is for manufacturers, for distribution, for cultivation, for social equity, period.
Right.
Where's the money for that? You know what I mean? And it says, if you got money on the 1.0, you're not eligible for the 2.0, and if you got money for the 2.0, you're not eligible for the 1.0. Like, it's just where is the money?
Where is the money? on the receipt when you check out at the dispensary, you see where the money is going.
Where it's supposed to go.
Where is a long line of taxes on there? There's a lot of money going out. Where is any of the money?
Thank you.
Here's my question for you. How did you like that? It's so, I would say it's a very small percentage of applicants, operators, contenders in multiple social equity markets. So I'm considering San Francisco, I'm considering Sacramento, ones that we watched pretty closely, sometimes in Oakland as well. A lot of people, like we said, held on to really expensive real estate, and to do so had to partner with MSOs. A very small percentage of people I worked with were able to do what you did, like either letters of intent, contingent upon receiving a license. How did you navigate that? Because I think that's a really savvy way to do it, but not everyone could. Tell us about your story with that.
So I live a double life. Well, I used to live a double life. And so cannabis was half of it, but real estate was the other half.
All right.
So I'm very real estate savvy. I still property manage. I've been managing properties on the side. That's been my double life. I always worked in corporate offices doing property management, and I was a very heavy hitter at it. And then at night I would grow weed in the same buildings that I was renting out to myself, low key, illegally. So it's just been it's been crazy, you know what I mean? So, but all that knowledge, I've still been able to use those tricks and the knowledge of the stuff that I learned in like the 15, 16 years of working in that industry and in that business. So I just took it and flipped it, and with the help of my buddies and stuff like that, my network in the real estate, I was able to just to finagle my way into these deals. And you got to remember too, like landlords too. I was approaching places that were already occupied, places that were being rented. So, and it's kind of fucked up, but it was usually contingent upon us getting the license and then paying them more rent. Mm-hmm. Right. So now the landlord, they automatically become part of the rush, and they're like, well, I'm going to make more money from my rent. So this nail shop right here, if these boys get the license, I got to give them notice to bounce. Right. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And this is going to be a dispensary next. So
that happened in San Francisco a lot. The people I know who did get away with it, it was contingent upon existing businesses being able to either finish out their lease or whatever it took. But I'm pretty sure that my new favorite intro line to any conversation is, well, I lead a double life. It's like, I want every conversation to start that way, and I'll be like, go on.
Got her. No, it's been a trip, man. Honestly, like I got so many stories just from it, like I've told people, I've given everything in the book, I'm a tire salesman, all types of shit, man. I used to tell my mom I flip tires because I used to live nearby. Like right when I left my house, I was in my early 20s, and so my boy had a tire distribution, and we used to put the packs in the tires, and then he'd bring the tires, just rolling the tires into my place, and everybody would see tires, but there was mad packs like in the inside of the tires. And so for a long time, but I actually did flip tires too, because the tire business like made a little bit of cheese too. So like people were like, "Yo, you sell tires?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got tires." And so I would sell tires too.
Why not? Why not? When in Rome. When in Rome.
Oh man. So with the license coming up, Edgar, what are your plans? Like, how do you look at it now? Like, out of these 100, let's be honest, maybe 50 will flip it, 50 might keep it, or that's being generous. We'll say, who knows what might happen. But like, I mean, you've been in this 6 years with the compliant regulations and all when you have access to be vertical, fingers crossed with everything going through, being able to use the manufacturing license and the distro license to supply a house brand for yourself. what do you see moving forward? Like, now that you
I
have this.
see, well, I'm already starting to see like the whole spectrum of offers that are going out. You know, I get cold emails now, like my phone's ringing. So I'm starting to get all the colorful, all the colorful offers that are coming in, which is pretty cool, because all these things to me is like it's a small moment in time, and it's happening now, and it's historical, but yeah, I'm starting to see like the low ballers coming in and trying to cash people out. um, I'm starting to see like the well-intended retail operators that really want to do well, and elevate the social equity um, individual. you know I would like to see more of that, but we all know how real it is out there, and it's like the Hunger Games.
Right.
And so, you know I was happy to meet with somebody yesterday that was giving me their plan on how they want to roll out the retail, and they're already a retail operator. They got two retails down here in Los Angeles, and they want to carry out a few more. So they they uh, they want me to try to plug them in with another social equity individual. And I was happy to actually see like well intended person in the space, like trying to do the right thing and trying to partner up with a social equity individual and elevate them, give them a role, educate them, sharpen them up. You know what I'm saying? Like bring out the best in them, and make them part of the whole situation. The daily operations, like the overall, just everything.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
like that they have just, the difference, because Maureen, I've worked with a lot of social equity applicants. And what happens when an MSO comes in, a multi-state operator, and they approach you with a deal, right, to operate under your license, they have it go. It's in motion. That shit's a freight train. You can either get on the train or not, right? But you don't have there's not room to craft or vision or put your touch necessarily. We know one case where he was able to give some of his touch. But with a smaller operator, are they talking about giving you a voice and how it could also reflect you as an owner, or what does that look like? The difference between the two?
Yeah, for the smaller owners, they are willing to allow the social equity individual to come in and be a part of the whole process. Getting the real estate, having a corner for them, some percentage of shelf space, for brands that they want to showcase, and that's something that for me myself, it's something that I'm going to be asking for in my deal. You know what I'm saying? Like I want my corner. I want to be able to showcase other social equity and other legacy operators, right? And be able to, if they open the doors open for me, so I got to hold the door open for them. I feel like as a social equity operator and an individual with the social equity status, I have a responsibility to share that and to empower other social equity operators as well, in the space, because we're all we got.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were just talking about, social equity licenses that are underneath these large umbrella corps and MSOs that make it really hard to buy social equity product. Think the irony there of like somebody walking into your store, you being the owner of that store, you have majority ownership and control, but you can't even put a brand on the shelf of somebody that you grew up with and that deserves it and that you've seen go through all these things that you met a long time ago. That's legacy or that's social equity. And if you can't do that, then what can you do? Because that's money in the pocket, of people that are literally building these brands. And it's so hard to do that. So if you have the power to do that, that's definitely a must, right?
Well, and MSOs are successful because of their data-driven SKU selection, right? Like let's acknowledge that it's a successful business endeavor, But that's not the heart of social equity. Like you said, if the door's open for you, you got to hold it open for someone else. That's social equity cannabis. That's people who are from the culture, and that's the distinction. I hate it when people are like, yeah, but it makes money. Like, fuck off. I can go make money on the corner. Shit, I can make money a lot of ways. I live in Nevada, but the point is I appreciate that like articulating the difference in ethos. That cool SKU selection is one strategy. Having like you're from the area, representing the brands, representing the people, that is a whole other strategy that is equally valuable, just not necessarily at the same levels.
It is.
One thing I want your opinion on, Edgar, is the other side of the coin, right? So there's operators like us that breathe and smoke and live cannabis on the daily basis. And then there's other people that definitely want to flip it, but there's no buyout minimum. So now it's just like sharks in the water trying to buy out for these, buy out the license as cheaply as possible, but there's no buyout minimum. Like, right. There should have been a buyout minimum.
There should have been at least some guidelines, to protect the social equity individuals. They're going to go that far. And yeah, I mean, the program hasn't been designed, for social equity individuals to where it's not an easy win. You really have to fight for every last penny. You got to fight for every last square foot from your landlord. Like everything you do, you got to fucking fight, everything, as so, for other social equity operators out there listening, and like, take it from me, you got to put your all into it, and you can never, like, don't ever give up. Don't listen to other people when they tell you like, hey man, this shit's not even worth it, or whatever, because I've had people in my ear tell me that they don't believe in it, it's all crack of shit, because I've been putting in my homies' ears since day one, social equity program, and they're like, man, they're teasing you with that bullshit, and so so you really gotta come in with a fighter's mindset.
Mm-hmm. And right now, will there be any more licenses? Like right now, for all we know, this might be all of the licenses that come out for adult use in LA?
Well, the city of LA, right after the lottery drawing took place, they announced that there will be one more lottery this year sometime, but they didn't say when. They just announced that there's going to be one more lottery for another 100, I believe.
Okay. Another that you cut out a little bit. Another what?
Another 100.
Another 100 retail licenses.
And would it be pulling from the same pool?
No, and they're gonna have a new verification period.
So they're like 3.0.
3.0.
Yay.
We don't know if they're planning on changing the requirements. We don't know. They haven't announced any of it. So it's just hurry up and wait.
Always hurry up and wait. Cannabis.
I'm asking that too because, like you're saying, you're getting blown up with phone calls, cold emails all day. And like Jessica was saying, it's a freight train, it's like either you're getting on one or you're not getting on one. And then there's another 100 coming potentially. So then it's like, all right, it's really go time, and you got to make the right decisions and get with the right partners. And it's such a predatory business that, I would say, what are you scared of? Not necessarily for yourself with this lottery, but like for all the people that got these licenses, being in LA.
Yeah, I think the number one thing that I'm scared about, and that probably other people should be scared about too when coming into these situations, is like just cheating yourself out of some bread, on the contract, like, because this is still in its infancy, and we haven't seen versions of contracts, and we haven't seen a lot of things yet, so we're not familiar with with what these companies are able to give, and things are always changing. So, and the market's always changing too. So I think my number one thing is just like, I'm just afraid of not striking the best deal possible, you know. But I'm gonna try my darndest, you know. Um, just to you know, I haven't thought about it. I think about it every now and then, but I really gotta sit down and really focus and think about um a full page or two of the things that I want out of this deal, and just come to the table and just be like, look, I think motherfuckers don't want to see all this shit that I have that I want on this deal, and whether or not you're gonna give it to me, it's all good. But I want you to know that I want this shit, you know, and I want you to know where my head's at and how I look at this shit, you know, and this is what I would want, and let's see how much of that you can actually give, and we'll, you know, we can figure it out.
Now for some advice, and ask it as a question as well, because if I think if anyone would listen to this and be in a similar situation, Marie and I have been through this a lot. We're part of groups, larger groups too, who have been through it. So my question to you is, do you have this? And my suggestion is like having advocates in the form of people who have seen these deals multiple times, having a good lawyer. Listen to me. Anyone listen to me. There are times when you don't really need to pay for a lawyer, you know, like you can get through some of the shit low key, or at least a cheap lawyer. This is not the time. This is
not
the time.
one of them.
This is the time you have a fucking bulldog in your corner and who has negotiated these, who is like, will like stare the other person down and be like, oh, hell to the no. But then the lawyer's one part of it, right? That's an expensive part. The advocates who help you sort of navigate the deal, I think it should be mandatory for social equity folks to have them. And, you know, they'll say, oh, we're here for you, you know, the various offices, but it's not the same because they're there for everyone. They're not there for you. So can you talk about like how you're approaching that, and or like how your experience around that?
Yeah. So for me, I do have a lawyer. He's gonna come in when it's time to you know, to do the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that the other party obviously knows that I would, you know, hire an attorney to get this shit done, because
Of course, and they have one too.
Yeah, you know, and so I'm gonna try to do the most work that I can on my own, and then when I get to a point where I need help, that's when I'm gonna let the lawyer know, hey, listen, I need your help on this. You know where I stand. This is what I want. And let's try to make it happen, you know, as smoothly as possible and as quick as possible. And this is all gonna happen like very soon.
And the thing that really finish what you're gonna say?
Oh, because I'm grateful to be able to have like 3 different options, you know, and I'm in the process of choosing who I'm gonna go with. There's actually 4 different offers, not solid offers with numbers and stuff like that, but just, you know, people that are open to partner up. 2 mom and pops and like 2 corporates.
It's great that you have like people you can, you know, negotiate against. So you're making sure that you have the best deal of everything.
For sure.
I was gonna say the irony, like the first hurdle, right? Like imagine you're at this point, you're 6 years in, or anyone at this point, 2, 3, 4 years in, but like you said, you know, a lot of people that are in this specific category that have been in it for a long time. Like having money to hire one of these attorneys just so you make sure that you don't have to use their attorney, like it's probably something only half the people, you know, can even do. It's like rule number 1, right? Never use their attorney. But if you don't have money to hire an attorney, and like you're not getting any cash up front where maybe you can negotiate a deal with an attorney to like get paid upon, you know, the contingency of the deal, but it's just so sad to think about the like conundrum of that, where you never want to use their attorney. And I think most of us all know that by now, time and time over, but it's just like the first hurdle that, you know.
It is. It's such a big one too, because a lot of social equity individuals think that they can handle this shit on their own, you know, or they're at a certain point in their life where they just look at it and they're just like, fuck it, I'll just take whatever they're gonna give me, you know, it's better than nothing, you know.
But sometimes it ends up being nothing. And that's like the crazy part of it, because we've seen this multiple times where people are like, well, I mean, it looks good to me because it's better than what I have. But the fucking corporate math undoes itself in the contract. And at
Right.
the end of 5 years, 10 years, whatever the minimum is, you're literally ending up with nothing. And that circles back to what we were talking about, buyout minimums. Like there's no guaranteed, like even if it all zeroed out between in a 5-year term, right? Say it all zeroed out, whatever. But there was a $5 million buyout minimum. Well, that's nothing to shake a stick at.
Right.
Right. And some of these buyouts, I can only imagine, you know, the worst, where let's say you have a situation in San Francisco, there's a 5-year minimum that's ending soon. So let's say the 5 years is ending and they're buying you out, but your buyout was extremely low. Let's say it's 250,000, but they paid you 240,000 in salary since then. So now they're like, here's a check for 10 grand. Now you don't even worry about this anymore. See you later. It's like
it ends up being literally nothing.
Nothing.
It's crazy. So I just wish there was some sort of minimum that like obviously there's more people in LA County than anywhere else. You know, it's a very valuable location in the scheme of things, and there should be a minimum valuation without opening, without, you know, even having real estate, making sure that these people are not going to get screwed over, because it's a high chance.
It is.
Unfortunately.
And they're out there. Right now, they're out there.
I want to hear more about, I don't know how much you're able to talk about, how much you want to talk about, but so this has all been the retail pursuit, and Marie mentioned verticalization. What's been you talked about distro, manufacturing, what's the route there, and or if you want to just say where you're at with it?
Well, on the retail side of things, I want to eventually incorporate my manufacturing and distribution to be able to assist that retail in building SKUs, in logistics and things like that through my distro. I tried to make a deal earlier in the year with the same company, but for whatever reason, it just didn't work out at the time. So I'm looking to kind of just like pick up from where we left off there, but facilitate the new retail with what I have here in Sylmar, the manufacturing facility, and hopefully help out all the other retail stores. And one of the things that I do also want to, I'm going to be working on this year is with the whole wave of social equity coming again and the hype and everything again, I want to go out just to the original social equity retailers that are now open from the last round, right? Some of them have their open doors now, and so I want to go out to them, and I want to engage with them and be their manufacturer as well, you know, and provide and just be the social equity manufacturer for these retailers and help them roll out just the house brands, you know, pre-rolls, carts, gummies, whatever we can make here. I really want to help the social equity retailers with that, so that they can have a different revenue stream and make more money, since right now everything is so price driven in LA, you know, and so people are just fighting for pennies. And I think one of the ways to be able to do it is just to increase your house brands and control your brands that you're selling under your roof while selling everybody else's stuff, you know. So that's one thing that I really want to work on this year.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like there should be a grant for, you know, them to pay your rent for being a shared space like that. I mean, there's so many different things that we need to be able to extract money out of our tax dollars for, and that's one of them.
I also like the idea of really quickly, what do you do, like, just to give your manufacturing a plug. So I like the idea of like house brands and equity brands under one roof. Are you the nerd in me wants to say type 6? Are you non-volatile? Are you volatile extraction? Are you
Yeah,
infusion? What's your license type?
we're a type 6. We're a type 6. We're in Los Angeles, so they don't allow volatile extraction.
Okay, so
So we're a type 6.
non-volatile extraction. Got it.
We're non-volatile extraction, and we have machinery to make large-scale gummies, tinctures. We can make pre-rolls. We can fill carts. My partner is a chemist and a chemical engineer, so the math and the science is in the building. And
Yes, I remember
yeah,
meeting
so
him. He is passionate about it.
extra, extra, extra. Yeah, man. So I'm lucky to have him too. You know, it's sort of a Walter White vibes. You know,
Yeah, but
uh,
like,
One-stop
yeah,
shop. One-stop shop there.
yeah, he's next level Walter White because he brings some other stuff to it. So you have that, and are you guys fully operational now? And you have is distribution in the same facility? Is that
yeah,
also there? So the same facility, and it's the full scale distribution, right? You can
yes,
store, transport, all of the stuff.
exactly.
So your offer previously, where you're like trying to get this company to like, hey, work with us, let us supply your stores, and it went kind of dead in the water. You win a lottery. You have precious real estate. You have a precious in for them, and you know people who do. So now you're able to leverage your opportunity, who you know, to try and reboot and uplift this deal. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's what I'm planning on doing.
Goddamn.
I love it. I think that I mean, just like you said, Edgar, it'll be a very interesting, beautiful, hopefully less of a mess. But you know, if most of these people have attached themselves in the supply chain to a license like you have already, or like a brand like Tiana's brand, Queen Mary, and then you win a license, it really just elevates everything that you were already working so hard at, potentially, you know, not making money, hopefully making money, but seeing it through. And then this really, I mean, once you have that flagship location, standalone brick and mortar in LA and can build off of that, I mean, everything really will be very full circle there.
It is, man. It's unreal. It just the still not real. I guess until we get keys to a spot, you know, and we're actually looking at plans and working in the spot, like it's really gonna kick in. But um, it's just been a crazy ass ride. Like all up until now, it still is a crazy ass ride. All this time, you know, I've been just looking at the clock, waiting for the time to come, like to enter the verification period, you know, to submit, to get into the lottery, the day of the drawing. Oh, you want to hear a crazy story? The day of the drawing. All right. So I'm looking this
What's the
whole
date?
time at
What
the day
date
of
was
the
that?
drawing, like,
When
huh?
was this? Get us in
That
the mood.
was December 18 or 15 or something like that.
Okay. So it's like a December day.
It was a Thursday. It was a Thursday. I
Thursday.
remember. The reason why I remember was because, well, first of all, I put it on the calendar and I'm counting the days until the fucking lottery, right? And then it's the Raiders versus Rams game at the SoFi Stadium, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I gotta be there, right? All my friends are gonna be there. It's a huge thing for LA, like
For
Raiders
which
versus
team?
Rams.
For which team would you be there? Just out of
For
curiosity.
the Raiders.
Okay.
Go Raiders.
I mean, hello Oakland. Let's go. Fuck
So
you.
it was a big event, right? So I'm looking at the calendar and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be at the fucking Raider game, man. And I wanted to do like something special, you know, like it's a fucking lottery, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's only gonna happen one time. So I wanted to be in front of my computer, like I wanted to have my boys with me and shit, you know what I mean? And the whole thing, right? So, anyways, I tell my girl, hey babe, the lottery's today, man. You think you can go on there and check it out? Because I'm gonna be at the Raider game. She's like, damn, today I have to go into the office. I'm not gonna be able to because she usually works from home. And so I'm like, fuck. So I hit up my other brother because my other brother was with me at the game. So I hit up my other brother and I say, hey, can you get on at this time and just look out for my name, see if I hit. Oh shit, I'm not gonna be there at that time. I'm gonna be so I asked like 3 people and then I said, fuck man, I'm just gonna have to try to watch this live at the tailgate at the game. But I'm like in a sick ass tailgate with
Right.
like 2 DJs. The music is
Just lit.
blasting. I ate a mushroom chocolate. I'm partying and I'm drinking. I'm having a good old time, right? So I'm like, I I look at the time and I'm like, fuck. I put up a reminder for the thing to start. So the thing starts and I'm already, and the shrooms are already kicked in, right? And I put my headphones on and I'm trying to watch this thing. And at the very beginning, it's like this whole explanation, right? Like the whole board comes on, the agency that's doing the lottery, fucking they come on. And it's just like this blah, 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 blah. And I'm trying to follow it. And I can't follow it for shit, right? Because the fucking music is so crazy. I'm on a sick one already. I'm just like, wow, I'm looking I'm looking at my phone and I'm starting to see like the visuals on my phone, everything's getting fuzzy. So I'm like, man, maybe I should just go somewhere where I can hear. So I try to walk away and I said, man, I don't want to walk away too far because I'm alone. And what if I lose my fucking spot and I don't know how to get back in this massive tailgate? So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna post up and when you're on a sick one, like you can't think too much. And I'm like, I'm gonna post up by the bathrooms because at least right here I won't get lost. I know where I'm at. I know where the spot's at.
Right.
So in the time that I go from where I was at to the bathrooms to go and do something, so a lot of it just happened. Okay. And so this is crazy. So I'm looking at the phone and I'm trying to listen, and the voice goes, "This concludes the lottery," right? So I'm like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me, man!" Of course, right? So I'm like, "Well, where the fuck are the names?" So I'm trying to look, and like very briefly, they just posted a screenshot of the names. Obviously, I didn't know what I was looking at, so I'm just looking at like a whole list of things. So I couldn't really comprehend. Then the screen changes. Then I'm like, great. I don't even know what's going on right now. Like I just missed the lottery. I'm over here trying to party. I just killed my buzz, like trying to focus on this,
Right.
And so I said, fuck, man, just live in the moment. Fuck the lottery. Like, just go back to the party, have a good time, and then when after today, tomorrow you can go and see the list. So trip out on that. So the whole time, additional suspense because now I'm like, fuck, the lottery just happened. I don't know if I hit or not, right? And I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna put the phone away till tomorrow. I'm not gonna stress on this because it's already like fucking me up. And so I said, let me just go back to the party, man. And then so I had told my brothers and my homies like, hey, I'm gonna step away because the lottery's gonna happen. So like, what happened? And I'm like, dog, the lottery concluded as soon as I got it. I don't even know what the fuck happened. You fucking kidding me? You're a fool, man. So I said, yeah, all right, cool. So then I have a long night and barely make it home. So I get home and in the morning I was just so pumped up to wake up and look at the names. So I wake up like 5:30, boom, get on my computer and I start looking. I'm like, where do they post the names? I went on the website, boom, pull up the names. And before the lottery happened, there was 2 people with the same last name, another person with the same last name as me. There was 2 Escobars on the entry list. And when I look at the list, I see both Escobars, on the list. And I said, at first glance, I said, wait a minute, am I looking at the fucking right list? Because both of our names are on here. So I couldn't believe it. I started looking again and I said, holy shit, this says right here, the selected. It says these names were the selected. And next to my name, it said selected. And the other Escobar, who I don't know who he is, but he also hit it. And it's random because it was a random lottery, but our names literally were like in sequence,
Mm-hmm.
So so when I seen that, I couldn't believe it, man. I had to look at it like 4 times to look and be like, it's actually me, man. You actually fucking did it. Like, wow. I couldn't believe it, man. I was just in shock, looking at and um it felt good because all this time of waiting and everything like that, all I kept telling myself is, you're gonna fucking get one. You're gonna get one. You're gonna get one. And it didn't happen the first time. Um, it didn't actually happen, back in the first wave of licenses. Somebody took some of my intel when I was working in property management, stole my intel, and went and got a license early on, and stole a property that I was going to pull a conditional use permit. Back then, there was no licenses. It was just a conditional use permit. And get this. So I've been sour about that ever since. So, the chance at a retail has been dangling in front of my face longer than this social equity stuff. I had the chance to do it early on, like in 2008, in Venice Beach, in one of the craziest locations. I was working for a property manager in Venice Beach, and he just happened to be cannabis friendly. Shout out Eli Nesses, man, he's my boy. He doesn't do property management anymore, but he taught me everything I knew. He never judged me for being a stoner. Matter of fact, he gave me my own smoking room in the corporate office that I almost burnt down one time because I fucking ashed in the trash can, and the fucking shit ignited after I left and locked up and everything. And the next morning, he gives me a call at 5 a.m. He's like, the fucking office is on fire. You know what's going on? I go back there and I'm like, fuck, the smoke's coming from my room back there. I'm like, what'd you do, man? And so we rewind the video camera, and you just see me leaving, and then you see the smoke.
Oh, I know.
From the
Crazy, but
client's perspective, like this is the shit.
luckily he had luckily there was this treated wood, like tiki, like treated wood armoire that was next to it, that basically when the trash can caught on fire, it just it wouldn't catch fire because it was treated wood. So it just smoldered the whole time, and it just smoked, like, so it didn't let it ignite and spread to the walls. So almost the whole building would have gone into flames. But yeah, he had properties all up and down Venice Beach, good ones, all up and down Pacific Boulevard. And when they first started allowing these things, I was in the leasing office, so I would get the calls and like, hey, would you guys allow a cannabis retail? And the answer was always no, right? Then after a certain amount of calls, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, well, what does it take to get one of these fucking licenses? So I looked it up, and it was just a conditional use permit. You just had to go to the city Department of Building and Safety, and you pay a fee, a couple $100. You get a conditional use permit, and you could read and have your seller's permit, and boom, you're in business, right? These are the people that got pre-ICO'd. So I had a location, and a person that I knew that was trying to set up another location, actually, I shared that info with him, all right, and he stole that location from me.
Yeah.
And he made the deal with my boss, and I told my boss, like, hey, listen, but I ended up making him a lot of money because I convinced him to switch his properties over to cannabis retails in Venice back in the day. And so it was ever since then that I was like, you didn't get it back then, but one day you're gonna get it. And so when the social equity came, I was like, oh wow, look at this. So here's my chance. I'm like, here it comes again. But all that time, I always knew somehow, some way, I was gonna be given that opportunity again, because the first one was taken from me. So I'm always a strong believer at, like, when you lose something and when you take a loss at something, somehow, some way, man, if you're good spirited about it, like, the universe somehow pays you back some kind of weird way, you know?
Right.
And so I'm a strong believer in that. And here it is. Like, it's like coming to life.
But bam, there we go.
Well, the universe certainly had your back when it didn't burn the fucking building down for you. Just
that was crazy.
Out.
But I felt like such a scumbag, though, because he's like, hey, listen, I know on your breaks and at lunch time, you go out and you go get high and you come back to work, don't you? And so I looked at him and I was like, You're damn right.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't want you to be risking yourself, out there doing that. So I'm going to give you a little spot. And I thought, wow, man, are you kidding me? Like, this guy's actually, so I felt like such a scumbag, when that happened. I'm like,
so I used to run a big manufacturing space, and fucking dudes would walk through. This is like when we're kind of closed and whatever. I mean, they'd smoke all over, but like they'd go in like near the ethanol and like just be puffing away. And as the compliance person, I'm like, could we not? Could we not? Because it ends poorly. And they'd be like, I'm just such a fucking buzzkill. But I'm so glad that someone could like back up that, yeah, shit does happen.
Yeah.
It does.
That happens easier than people think. The butt in the trash.
Yeah. All it takes is a little amber or anything, man, for something to ignite and it's over. It's
Done deal.
So anyway, that was pretty cool.
That was great.
I really love that you were shrooming too, and all of the things therein.
The moral of the story was just go back to the party.
Yeah, right. Be present, because then interestingly, like the news was there the next day.
Wham bam.
Still there.
It was.
I think that
it was. It would have been cool to find out then and there, and then celebrate extra at the tailgate. But it was like one celebration at a time. I just couldn't handle it.
Did you need extra? Did you need extra that day? I don't know. Sounds to me like you were already there.
Shout out mushrooms, man.
Shout out to psilocybin.
That's a whole interesting. I love to look ahead at the eventual legalization of that market, and I just think it'll be a really natural if you can fold in existing manufacturing facility productions for things like gummies, because a lot of the how I've been accessing is psilocybin related, but it's coming in the same forms. It's coming in, equally accessible. Like, let's get the chocolate bar machine just doing the same fucking thing. Different drug, different run. Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love it.
Shout out my boy Origins with the bomb chocolate.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I gotta get you guys some.
Sure.
I like it. I like it.
They're single serving. They're single serving 1 gram squares, individually wrapped, so you don't have to you know what I mean, break open a piece and then I'm eating too much or too little. It's like perfect, like for everybody. You eat 2 or 3 or 1 or half of one.
Have you ever done my favorite thing to talk about is I use lemon, but or you can use alcohol, but lemon tech, like where you soak it, like the powder in that, and it converts in the glass. Like, look it up. It's a great. It's even more fun than the chocolates, because
interesting.
It's like 15 minutes straight to space Jesus.
Is it? Love it.
Yeah.
That's my style.
Yeah. Just look it up. Lemon TEK. Yeah.
I like that small dose. Like, I like a high dose in a small amount. Like, I don't want to eat a chocolate bar to get 4 grams. Like,
I don't eat that much chocolate. I don't want to have to
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Origins. I've tried the microchips and the Odyssey. Now I gotta try the Origins. Let's go.
Yeah. These are fire.
Wonderful. I think we're about at time. Jess, do we have any other wrap-up questions?
No, I'd just love for you to come back and chat with us as you progress, because I think it's an interesting story to follow. We know a little bit more about the background. We didn't get to talk about all of it today, but I'd love to see how, your original vision has been changing, but how you're able to leverage each point, and come back and tell us how you're doing.
Sounds good. I'll definitely tap in with you guys. And
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
They had to put both y'all on the list because both the Escobars got to get in. That's just a given.
That's it.
Like, come on.
I gotta find the other Esco, man.
Right now, now it's time.
Paging Escobar.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on our digital little talk here. Appreciate it. And we will keep you posted and everybody posted as you progress through getting your license, getting your store open, going through all the other things that you're going to be doing, co-branding and white labeling, and just we'll keep everybody posted and see exactly how you progress. It's going to be beautiful.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything that you
Appreciate
guys do for the social equity circle too. You know, you guys are you guys put in a lot of work, and you guys are here for us, and I appreciate you guys. When I'm here for you guys, you know that. Love you guys.
Awesome. Yay.
Thank
Love it.
you.
Bye.